Hi, my name's Elaine, and I'm the mother of four daughters, four grown daughters. Three of them have children, and so that makes me the grandmother of 9 little people. And I wanted to come to you today just to talk about a few things that might encourage you in your parent-child relationships. One of the questions that I keep hearing over and over is how can we spend quality time with our kids? And so I think that's so important that we answer that question and give some ideas, because so many are trying so hard to connect with their kids. And sometimes life is just so busy, we just don't know where to start. So I hope today, just sharing some of the things we did when our girls were little, will give you some encouragement and spark your creativity, because I would love to hear from you about what you're doing at home so others can hear. We can spread this around and share it with others because we all need help, right? So one of the main things is to validate your children's feelings. That's one of the ways that we connect with them relationally. So a fun idea, a fun activity might be that you would make some little fun emojis about feelings. There are 4 basic feelings: mad, sad, glad, and afraid. And pretty much any other feeling is going to fall under one of those categories. It's important for us to talk to our kids about their feelings, because they need to understand that feelings are just a thermometer. They just tell us what's going on. They're neither right or wrong. They're just feelings. And children are so empowered when they realize they have control over their feelings. No one can tell them how to feel. They get to pick and choose that themselves. So it's a great conversation piece. It's a great tool to use in our homes, in our relationships, not just with kids, with anybody. But primarily today, we're talking about children. So I think it's important that we give our kids that control over their feelings. The next thing is we need to give them the gift of aloneness. Our souls are replenished by being alone. And it's so important that we respect one another as husband and wife, as friends, as parents and children. We respect one another with the gift of aloneness. And it truly is a gift. One of the things we did when our kids were young, of course, we had quiet time. But I prepared a place in my master bath. I created a garden theme in there, and I had candles and flowers, and it was just very pretty. And I had a garden tub. And so I would put quilts in the garden tub and light candles and bring a cup of tea whenever I felt necessary. I felt that it was necessary, and I would have alone time, quiet time, whether I read a book or listened to music, whatever it was. And our girls learned to respect that time. When I called it my secret place. And I would say, Mommy's going to go in her secret place. And they knew, don't disrupt Mom's time. But the reason they respected my time in my secret place is because I gave them quiet time to be alone. And they learned to value that. And we need to remember that our children will value themselves and others based on how we value them. So that's a very important thing to remember. And then the next thing is we need to honor their individuality. And for us, we had 4 girls in 5 years. So they were all the same gender, and they were all very close in age. And it was so difficult to find time for their individuality. But Tim and I realized that they really need this to develop and have their own identity. So we started trying to figure out ways to incorporate that into our family. Of course, we encouraged them to find something that they liked to do that was different from their sisters. And we would even have times throughout the day when we would say, okay, go do your own thing. Right now, this is time to go do your own thing. And that encouraged individuality. Another thing that we did that we've passed on to the next generation is having quality time with each daughter on a particular night of the week. So what that looks like is the one daughter, all the girls would go to bed except for that one daughter on that particular night. And they would get 30 to 40 minutes alone with mom and dad. And it was so great. It was so enlightening to us as parents to spend that time alone with that particular child. It was a safe environment. They knew they could talk about whatever they wanted to. They could play a game. They could just tickle, just whatever they wanted. They got to choose. And we always presented options because sometimes kids they can't really think of what option they might, that might be available. But it was so much fun to get to spend that one-on-one time with that child. And yes, it took up every night of the week. We had something. But it was just a short period of time. And I promise you, it goes a long way in those relationships. So that was a really big deal. And then the last thing is to have fun with your kids. Have fun. That's something that was so important for us. And I think it's so important for kids as well. Having fun, some of the ways we had fun was we would cover the table with a vinyl tablecloth. And then we would play games and we would keep the score on the vinyl tablecloth. And it was so fun for the girls to be able to see their scores circled, exclamation marks. Everybody wanted to win, so they would get the graphics for, that game. And I mean, we would cover that tablecloth with scores, and it was so much fun. We kept it for a long time. Then after, I think, our last move, we had to throw it out. But it was just fun. And then another thing we did was we had a crazy word. When the girls were real young, I had a crazy word. And when I said that crazy word, everyone knew what it was. We would all just act crazy. We might giggle, we might laugh, we might jump, we might dance, we might say gibberish, we might make funny faces, but we would all end up giggling at one another. And it was just a time for laughter. So let's remember these 4 things. I think it will be very helpful to you. Number 1, validate feelings. Number 2, give them the gift of aloneness. Number 3, give them their individualities or honor their individuality. And then number 4, have fun with one another. I really am so thankful that you listened today, and I would love to hear your ideas. I know that this is going to spur you on and encourage you to be creative, because that's what happens to me when I hear what others are doing. So share with me, leave a message, and let me know what your family's doing to encourage these different types of things.